Welcome to my YouTube channel, Victor the Analyst. My name is Samuel. So I'll be taking you today on how to create a calendar table and how to use the calendar table to calculate a growth rate. So why do you even need the calendar table in the first instance? You need a calendar table because of two things. Number one, if there's a duplicate in your date column, you need to create a separate calendar table for that to be able to calculate your growth rates, because the functions used in calculating the growth rate is we use a time intelligence functions for doing that. So I'm going to divide the tutorial into two parts. One has to do with the creation of the creation of the calendar table, and I'll teach us two methods. Number one method will be the Power Query, and number two method we're going to be using DAX expression, data analysis expression, that which is DAX. And from there we're going to use that calendar table to be able to calculate our growth rate. So I'm going to import the data we are going to use. So I'll go to get data. Sorry, let me do that again. I'll go to get data. Then from get data, I'll go to Excel workbook because it is Excel workbook. So I'm going to drop this file on the video description. So now I'll go to documents. I'll go to where my file is located. So this is my file, growth rates data. Then I'll hit on open. So what this will happen is that it's going to take me to Power Query. So I'm going to teach us how to create a calendar table using Power Query. So from there, I will come back to Power BI and I'll teach us how to use DAX to do the same thing too as well. Alright, so here we go. So I'll select this. Let's see what we have there. So click on this, check this box. It's going to preview the data. So I will click on transform the data. So now this is our data. This is the date column. So let's check if there's a duplicate in this data. So you could select this, then you go to view, then we'll check the column profile. So let's see what we have there. So we can see that we have 200 distinct and 100 unique. So that's telling us there is a duplicate in the data in that date column. So what we are going to do is that we're going to, let's rename this to call fat table, hit enter. So I'll right click here on the fat table, then I would click on duplicate. So I'll duplicate uh, that table, then I'll rename this to be my calendar table, hit enter. So I'll select the date, right click on it, then I'll say remove other columns. So I would right click on this, I'll say remove duplicates. I don't want duplicates. So now I remove the duplicates, then I can now start. I will remove my year. I will need my year. You can remove your year. You can click here as well. Change this to text data type because this is a text. You can remove your year. You can remove the days of the week, name of day. You can remove, extract your, quarter from this. You can as well extract. You can see that at any point in time I'm selecting the dates column and come to date, and then I can remove, extract your month, which is going to be name of month. So now we have everything we need in our date. So go back to home, then click, then close and apply. So this will actually pop up into our Power BI where we can start um, calculating our growth rate. But before we start calculating our growth rates, I would like to teach us how to create a calendar table using DAX, or teach us how to create a calendar table using DAX. It has finally loaded to our Power BI. Let's go to the model view and see what we have there. So this is our table view. No, this is our report view. This is the table view and the model view. So let's wait for it to come up. Okay, yeah, let me go to my model view. So uh, in my model view, this is the calendar table we created, and this is our fact table. So we need to create a relationship between these two tables before we can actually use this calendar table in my analysis. So I'll click on, well, there's one thing that is in common between these two tables, which is the date. You can see we have date here, we have date here as well. So we click here, then we'll create a relationship between the two. I'll click, I'll drag, and I'll place here. So this is going to form a relationship which is going to be a one to many relationship. You can see many to one, that is saying one to many relationship. All right. So I'll teach us now how to create. Now I've done creating of calendar table using the Power Query. So I'm going to teach us how to create a calendar table using a DAX, that's data analysis expression. So you go to your table view. In your table view, so we click on new table. Click on new table. So this is where we'll start writing our DAX and telling the system that this is what I want to do. So our table name will be calendar. Should be calendar. All right. We can see calendar equals to, the function name is calendar. You press tab, which is tab on your system, to call that. So it's asking for the start date, which is the max tab, which is going to be the start date is going to be, we are going to look for the date in the fact table, the column, the date in the fact table, which is we're going to say order. That should be order date if I'm correct. Let's see, fact table. So this is date. So I'll close bracket here, comma, min tab. I'll say date. All right, I didn't get that. So I'll just do fact. So as you're pressing this DAX function, the system automatically gives you options. So you select from the options, then close it. If you're not getting those options, definitely you are doing something wrong. So you can see you have a outline here and the same thing here. So I'll hit enter. So when I hit enter, this is going to create a calendar column table for me, a calendar table for me, which takes beginning the beginning of the date, then to the end of the date. So it creates a table. So cannot be start date in Canada cannot be later than, okay, minimum, should I view, let me see, mean thing should be max. It's enter. Enter. So this one's going to create a date from the minimum of the day down to the maximum of the date in the fact table. Now we want to get our month, our year. So we want to get just months and year because of our time. Then let's click on new column. click on new column. No, before you click on new table, but now you're clicking on new column to be like year equals to year tab. So we're going to use, it's asking for us the date. We're going to use this date that we've created, which is calendar date, and I'll close the bracket. This, you're going to use this date as our argument. Now it's enter. So it's going to extract the year from this date. So the next we're going to do is we want to get our we change this one to we change this to it's loading. We change this to be a text, the year to be text. So let's do just one more, the month. The month. We're going to go to the table tools, click on table tools, then click on new column. Again, in the new column, we want to get the month and the day. Yes, one for the month and one for the day. I'll say month equals to format tab. The value is calendar date, comma, is asking me for the format. I'll put double inverted comma mmm, close the bracket. No, another two inverted comma, close the brackets, and I'll hit enter. So this is going to give us like JN. If I put 4M, I'm going to have January, but as I'm putting 3M, I'm having JAN there. So I will do for the day, and that we are done with creating of the calendar table. From there, then we'll move on to creating of the growth rate. So one more, click on new column again. So this is going to be like okay. All right, I'll have it as this is a day equals to format tab calendar date comma into brackets. I'll do this is going to be DDD, close the brackets, and I hit enter. So normally Power BI is very heavy, you understand. Power BI, I would recommend when you want to use software like this, you have like 8 gig RAM above, and your processor should be 2 point something upward. So now we've done, let's go to our model view. So this is the date we created from using DAX. So we're going to create a connection between the fact table and this table. So we can use any of this table, the one created from the Power Query or the one created using DAX. So we're going to use any of them for our uh, growth rate calculation. So we'll go to the report view. So now let's start doing our creating our measures. I would go to this here, click on this icon here. So just rename this to be measures, then click load. All right, now we have our measures here. This is where all our measures is going to be. So I'll right click here. Oh, so I'm going to right click and go to new measure. So I want to calculate. Now we've come into the second part of our video. No, the first part was creating a calendar table. We've done that using Power Query. We've done that using a DAX. Now we want to start calculating our growth rate using a DAX function. So I will need to get my total revenue first, which is total revenue. I'll sum up every sum, then I'll come down here, I'll choose tab and I'll close the bracket and hit enter. So this is going to create a measure for the total revenue. So it's going to sum up all the old figures that you have in that revenue column and sum it up to be the total revenue. So you have it here. It's going to pop out here to be your total revenue. So the next thing we are going to do is we want to create our current year revenue. So I'll create my current year revenue. I'll right click again on the measures, click on new measure. Please don't go back here and edit, just right click here as I did and click on new measure. So this will actually pop a new tab to be able to write in your new measures will come up. So you're going to write CY revenue, which is equals to total, which is equals to total YTD. So it's asking for my expression, which is going to be the total revenue, comma, it's asking for the days. I'll say calendar date. Then I'll close the bracket and I hit enter. So that's the CY revenue. So the next step is we want to calculate for the PY revenue. So right click here, then go to new measure. So I'll say PY revenue equals to calculate total revenue, comma, same period last year. So I'm not sorry, and it's asking for my days. I'll just say calendar date and I'll close the bracket twice. So it's enter. So what is the formula for getting our growth rate? Formula for getting the growth rate is CY revenue minus PY revenue divided by the PY revenue. So it's the same thing as saying CY revenue minus PY revenue minus 1. So what do I mean by CY? CY means current year, and what do I mean by PY? It means previous year. So you can say PY revenue. So I'm going to do this one. So I've calculated my PY revenue. Now I want to calculate my year-to-year growth. I'll right click. I'll say new measure. So I'm going to say year-to-year growth, which is equals to into brackets CY revenue. Should have CY revenue where CY, okay, revenue. Why am I getting that? Oh, I think I calculated that as a new column. Let me, this is, I'm getting this as a new, I'm getting this. Oh, I think this is measured as a new column. Let me delete this, please. Right click and just delete. Delete from module. So, yes. So, let me do that again. So, right click and I'll go to new measures. Is a new measures. So, new measures, new measure, new measure, not new column or new table, whatever. So, new measure, CY revenue equals to total YTD, total revenue, calendar, dates, then close the bracket, then hit enter. Alright, let me right click, then click on new measure again to be able to calculate my year to year growth. Then I'll say this will be year YOY growth, which is equals to into bracket CY revenue minus PY revenue close bracket divided by PY revenue. So we are going to have error with this. So we'll come back and fix it. So we'll come back and fix that. So let me bring in my card. So I would click on this, my card. So I'll check my this person here, CY revenue. So it's still coming up. Let's wait for it to load. So click outside, click on another card. I'll click on the PY revenue. So let me just adjust this. Click outside, then I would click on my card again, drag here, then I'll check the year to year growth. Then just select this, select the year to year growth. Then the format, click on the format, then change this to percentage. So we're going to have 35 percentage. Now outside. So let's click outside here. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to um, bring in our slicer to see what's going on in the year. So I would come up here. Where's my slicer? Yeah, this is my slicer. Check the slicer and under this my calendar. I actually use this calendar. So I think is this calendar date that I use. So I'm going to use this year. Check the year. So let's see what we have in 2021. So we can see that we have errors, blanks, and infinity. So let's check, let's see what we have in 2022. So this one is working perfectly. So the reason why we have blanks here is because there is no previous year for 2021. So let's try and fix that going back to our measure. So for the PY revenue, let's just edit, right click, then you go to just click on the PY revenue, sorry. Click here. Once you just click on the PY revenue, so here will show. So you're going to say if equals to blank tab comma, if this expression is blank, give me 0. Else if it's not blank, run this operation for me. So run this operation for me. So I'll just select this, Ctrl C, and I'll do Control V and close it. So what you're saying is that if this expression is blank, give me 0, else run this operation for me. So definitely if this operation is not blank, this will run. But else if it's blank, is this that will, if no sorry, this checks for blank. If this expression is blank, it gives you 0. If it's not blank, this is going to run. So that means this expression is checking if this our function is going to be blank. If it's blank, 0 will come outside. If it's not blank, this one will run. Okay, now let's move to the next part. Just hit enter. So let's see what will happen. So for the year-to-year growth, we just right click on it. Just click on it. It's still coming up. It's still loading. So let's click on the year-to-year growth. So we need to fix that as well. So remember I said that in this expression too can actually be said to be CY revenue divided by PY revenue minus 1. So I'll use a function called divide to achieve that. So I'll say divide tab CY revenue, comma PY revenue, comma 1, close the bracket, minus 1. So what am I doing here? I'm saying that CY revenue divided by PY revenue. This is our numerator, this is our denominator. If this one does not come out as error, by minus 1 here, I'm going to get my rate year-to-year growth. But if I click on 2021 and I have 0 here, no, this one will come out as error. Instead of it coming out as error, 1, this alternate figure is what is going to show. The output is going to be 1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. So recap, CY revenue, comma PY revenue. If it does not come out as blank, this value here is going to give us a value that this one will minus from to get our current year-to-year growth. If this one is 0 and comes out as a blank, or probably like I said infinity, instead of coming out as infinity, 1 will be the one to come out as an output. So we don't know that 1 minus 1 will give us 0. So we're going to change this. Is in the percentage already, so we don't just click on, just hit enter your keyboard. So let's wait for it to load. Now let's hit 2022. See what we have there. That's 2021. You can see now everything is coming out fine, no more error again. So that is how you can actually create your calendar table using Power Query, or you can use a DAX formula on Power BI. So I hope this tutorial is educative, is informative. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more insights on data analysis processes. Thank you very much, and